Hi disciples, the first part of the Chopin Prelude in A that we're learning today sounds like this. All right, that's all we're learning. It's the first half of the piece, believe it or not. And we're going to start with your left hand, and your left hand is going to be all about E's. So you're going to start with this low E2, and just get a sense for this pattern. You're going to do an E, you're going to jump up an octave and play octave E's. So you've got boom, bum, bum, bum. And you want to be thinking about counting in three, the pieces in 3/4 time. And I'll show you how you can break up your counting later, but for now you'll be thinking 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then there's a rest. At the same time, your right hand is going to start with an E4, and it's going to play a C sharp next with your forefinger. That's your ring finger. Okay, and once you hit that C sharp with your right hand, that's when you're going to start your left hand. But let me show you the right hand first so you get a sense for what you're playing here. Alright, so you've got an E, a C sharp, a D, and then you're going to come down with your 1, 2, and 3 finger, play a D, a G sharp, and a B. And if you're already thinking ahead a little bit, once your left hand comes into play here, you're going to be wrapping your thumbs in the middle of the keyboard here, sort of around each other. Alright, so here is the two hands together. I'll try to walk you through it slowly. You've got this E4 with your right hand, and once you hit the C sharp with your right hand, you're going to start the left hand pattern, which is a low E. You're going to go to a D here, right before you jump up to these E's. Alright, then octave E's in your left hand while you play a D, a G sharp, and a B in your right hand. And you just play that chord 3 times. So here's the first chunk. Now to get the rhythm in the right hand, you'll notice there's a 16th note in the first beat of that first full measure, ignoring the pickup there. So in your right hand, you've got, you can think about counting this like this. 1, 2, 3, 1 E and a 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we'll be on to the next phrase there. All right, so that's how you're going to play that first chunk. You'll see starting in measure 3, you've got this D and an F sharp, and you're playing that with your thumb and your forefinger. All right, and that's going to start the next phrase. I'm going to show you your right hand first now. From here, you move down. You're going to play with your thumb and your 2 finger. You're going to play a C and a B sharp and a D sharp. And using the same rhythmic pattern, 1 E and a 2, 3, 4. So let me show you that little bit right there. You've got a D and a F sharp, B sharp and a D sharp, and then you're going to slide your thumb up to a C sharp, and your 3 is going to play this E. And you're going to quickly switch that E that your 3 finger is playing with an A with your pinky or your 5 finger. And you just do that 3 times. And that's the second phrase for the right hand. And your left hand, while you're doing that, using the exact same rhythmic pattern as you did in the last phrase, you're going to play an A. And it's kind of like you're playing an A chord, but it's an A5. You're not going to play the 3. So you're going to play an A, you're going to jump up an octave to an A and an E. So it's like this. So starting with the pickup to that phrase, you've got, try to get my fingers out of the way for you. All right, now where your hand, we're going to move on to the third phrase here. So it's like basically the pickup to measure 5. And if you look at your 2 thumbs in the middle of the keyboard, this E and this C sharp, that's what your right hand is going to be playing next to start the next phrase. So you can actually kind of like move your right hand onto those 2 notes and just get your left hand out of the way, and that's the first chord. All right, now your hand, I'm keeping my fingers out of the way, but if you're keeping your hand sort of in a normal position here, it's not a crazy transition from this first chord to what your hand is going to play for the next. Your right hand is going to play for the next chord, which is a C sharp and an A sharp. Okay, so here's the whole move. E to E and a C sharp that you're just planting from the phrase before. You're going to slide your thumb down to a C sharp and your 3 finger, just leave it over this A sharp. Try to get my fingers out of the way. And you're going to slide both these fingers a half step, or you slide your thumb and you're going to play with your 4 finger this B. So you've got a D and a B. And you're going to pin this D where it is, and you're going to sort of split your hand here. Your 2 fingers are going to play an F sharp, and your pinky or your 5 finger is going to play a D. And you're just going to play that 3 times. You notice that I left my thumb planted on that D. All right. So let me show you that the whole move with the right hand. And the thumb stays planted there. All right. Meanwhile, your left hand is back to that E, kind of like the first phrase. But instead of doing E octaves, you're going to do an E5 chord. So you've got that low E, and then you jump up an octave, and you're going to play an E and a B. So here it is all together. Keeping that D planted in the middle. All right, the next phrase, your thumb is going to stay on that D. Your 2 fingers are going to move from an F sharp to a G sharp, and all the other notes are going to just leave the keyboard. All right, so that's the first note, the pickup to measure 7, and you play that exact same chord again with the same rhythmic pattern to start in measure 7, and it's going to sound like this. And there's another pin here. I actually kind of played a little funky, but I'll show you what I mean. You've got this thumb on a D and the G sharp with your 2 finger, and you play it again, and then you're going to slide your thumb down to a C sharp as your 3 finger plays an A. And then that's very quick little chord that you play, and then you're going to move your 3 finger from that A and switch it out for a pinky on a C sharp. And your thumb is going to stay planted on this C sharp for just a little bit there, and that's going to actually help when we bring the left hand in. I'll show you in a second. And then you lift that whole thing up and finish out that rhythmic pattern that you've seen throughout the rest of the piece with 2 more hits. All right, so let's bring the left hand into that, and that's actually going to be the end of that part here. So you've got a D and a G sharp with the 2, thumb and 2 finger. And your left hand, the left hand part is a low B, okay? And then you're gonna play that low B, and then you're gonna move your hand up here towards the middle of the keyboard, and I'm gonna show you just in isolate, your left hand in isolation. It's an E, an A. Oh, I'm sorry, I said a low B, but I meant a low A. A, and then you're gonna play an E, an A, and an E here. That's the left hand sort of waltzy boom chuck 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 boom chuck 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 boom chuck chuck chuck. Hope that helps. So here it is bringing those 2 hands together for that last chunk there. Keeping this thumb pinned. I don't know if I actually did it that time. I'll show you one more time. And then lift everything together. So here it is all together. I'll try to walk you through it slowly. Thumb, starting on this E here. Right when I hit this C sharp, same thing. Bringing up the octaves here, and wrap the thumbs around. Playing an E7 chord, basically, if that means something to you. 4 and 1 up here. Then we're going to play an A5 with the left hand. Same rhythmic pattern. The thumbs become my target for the next chord. I bring my right hand over. Back to an E in the left hand. E5 chord here in the left hand, while I leave the thumb pinned on this D. And here's that last chunk I just showed you. And you've got this low A. And then it's E, A, and E, like an A5 chord. So with the right hand, it becomes like an A major chord. Alright, so that's the first half of the song. Actually not too bad. It's a little bit tricky, but it's not bad once you just stick with it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you want to hear the cover, I'll make sure to post a link to that somewhere nearby. Alright, have a great day.